and welcome to today's episode of LinkedIn with Louise. Before I introduce my guest, I just wanted to invite you to come along and check out some of the ways that I can work with you and support you with your LinkedIn over at the website, which is socialbni.com. I have a 3-part workshop coming up, which is called Power Up Your LinkedIn. I ran it successfully in April of 2020, and we had 20 members who signed up to join in and got really, really good value from it. So it's a 3-part workshop, and how I help you is part 1 is on the Monday, and we go deep dive into how to complete your LinkedIn profile. Part 2 is on the Wednesday, and we look at how to build your network and what kind of content works successfully on LinkedIn. And part 3 is how to pull it all together so that you can use LinkedIn consistently to help you raise your profile, win business, and connect with new customers and clients. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, I host it live. So it's 3 live training sessions. Each time there's an hour's worth of training, and then we have about 30 to 45 minutes of time for Q&A, and everything is recorded and you've access to the recording afterwards. I also have an amazing workbook for everybody who comes along and attends. So if you'd like to know more about that, pop over to the website, go to socialbni.com and click on the link for Power Up Your LinkedIn, and I look forward to welcoming you into the group. We start on Monday, the 21st of September, 2020. If you have any questions about that, then just drop me a line, let me know, and I will help you out. Let's get on to our podcast today. Okay, folks, I would love to welcome you along to today's episode where I'm going to be talking to Anita Belitz, who is a friend of mine that we've only met recently, but we've become friends already.
Yeah.
From the Wise Woman's Workplace podcast, which I strongly suggest you go and check out if you are A, wise, B, a woman, or C, someone who is interested in the workplace. So that's pretty much all of you listening. Okay, so Anita, I'm going to let you introduce yourself properly. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Louise. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here and to speak to your audience. Again, my name is Anita Belitz, and I coach and mentor women who are in the workplace, who typically are women executives or aspiring executives, and who want to move ahead in their career. So I do that based on a 20-plus year career that I've had myself, going from administrative assistant to executive director and beyond, and combining that with neuro-linguistic programming. So I use my experience and my tools from neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, to help people move ahead in the workplace.
Excellent. So you are living in Switzerland. You're not originally from Switzerland. Do you want to briefly tell me and my listeners how you ended up in Switzerland and where you're from originally?
I mean, it's just basically that I have an international family. My mother is Swiss and my father is German, and they went to the United States about 53 years ago, and they were supposed to stay for 3 years and ended up staying forever. So I was born in the US and went and did all of my studies up through university in the United States, and I decided I wanted to come to Switzerland to learn to speak French. You know, when I did that, I essentially met my future husband. So very typical story that you hear, meeting your loved one and then kind of uprooting yourself and staying in the place that you've met them. So, and have been here for over 20 years, have my family here and have everything here now. So go back regularly, but I am based here now full time. So
for the podcast recording this morning, I dropped my son at school and I was talking to my friend who is a cardiologist. And I said, I'm about to have a meeting with somebody from Switzerland. And she said, oh my goodness, wouldn't it be wonderful to be in Switzerland? We're like, yes. So I was thinking about mountains and chocolate and all nice things.
Yeah, and it's true that Switzerland has a very, very high standard of living. So it's a wealthy country on, by anybody's standards. But we have very good healthcare. We have very clean living environment. Our food quality is exceptional. The education is very strong. So, we feel lucky to be here. But we're a very international family. And so I think we try to take things from all different kinds of cultures and bring it into, how we're living and how we're raising our kids and
I love that.
who we are. Yeah. So
excellent. Okay.
And we eat chocolate. Sorry. We do take advantage of the chocolate. So
we see, I have an image of, every weekend you go and climb a mountain, so then you're allowed to eat chocolate.
Exactly. That's how it should be, isn't it? I need to climb a little bit more mountains though, but okay.
So Anita, how we connected was that I am going to be speaking at an online conference that you are running in the near future. So I'd like you to talk a little bit about that, and then we're going to dive into a topic that a lot of listeners will be interested in, which is working with LinkedIn companies and employees, and really the some people will see it as minefields, but I would see it as opportunities around those issues. But let's just briefly mention the conference that's coming up. Could you tell everybody what your conference is about and how they can find out more about it? Because I think it's really going to be of interest to a lot of listeners.
Oh, thank you so much, Louise. So yeah, it's going to be a virtual online conference, which is free. So it's over 3 days from September 21st through September 23rd. Mm-hmm. And it's a conference about how to use this time to plan, find, and land your dream job. And this really came about because there are a lot of people who I have heard from clients and colleagues and friends that this has been a time of reflection for a lot of people during confinement. There have been a lot of things that have come to the forefront for them. And I see that people really need some kind of support, especially when you're at a higher level, to be able to kind of navigate the waters, of changing your career. Mm-hmm. So the conference really has all different kinds of speakers. Some of them are more on the mindset side. Mm-hmm. Some of them are on the tool side. Like we had a fantastic conversation about how to use LinkedIn really properly, right? And to put all the information on the page and how we behave in terms of posting and liking and how we can reach out to people. And it's really just to support people in that process. So whether it's somebody who is maybe in a job that they're okay with, but they want to kind of up level. It can even be for people who are looking for a totally new career, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is a conference which really touches on so many different points and has such high level speakers that I think it's a fantastic opportunity for people just to kind of brush up at least on what they're doing and really be able to take concrete step forwards. Excellent. So, so I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm so happy that you were a guest there because you shared so much valuable content with people. I know they're going to get hand cramps from taking notes. So obviously I'd love to have everybody join. So you can find more on the website, www.dreamjobconference.com.
Yes, and just list a couple of the other speakers so people know what kind of speakers they would be expecting to hear from.
Okay, so we do have a special guest who is Todd Herman. Todd Herman is the author of The Alter Ego Effect and has many online programs. He's known as an elite coach and helps successful businesses. So he's there for kind of, keeping your eye on the horizon and being able to kind of go successfully through the transition process. We also have Jane Franklin, who is a LinkedIn top voice from cybersecurity, funny enough. But Jane speaks a lot about being a woman in a male-dominated industry and how to kind of successfully navigate those waters. We have other guests like Michelle Kaplan, who is somebody who has a 30-year experience in the HR department. We have you, Louise, on LinkedIn. Yep. We have Jenny Kovacs, who is a visibility specialist. So we have very varied speakers, and there's many more, and people will be able to find those on the website. So.
Excellent. Well, guys, listen, I think you should definitely sign up. I mean, it's free. You've got nothing to lose, and there's some top quality speakers there, as well as myself.
Exactly.
So, Anita, one of the things that came up between you and I when we were recording my talk for the conference was looking at LinkedIn in terms of people. I suppose we were looking at the point of view of employers and employees and some of the issues around that. For example, I would have clients would reach out to me and they'd say, I'd really like to use LinkedIn. I'd like to raise my profile. But one of the issues is that, my manager thinks that I'm just going to be looking for a new job. And how do I raise my profile on LinkedIn without my connections thinking, oh, Louise is off looking for a new job? Let's dive into that a little bit, because I'm sure it's something you've come across as well.
Yeah. And thank you this is a really exciting discussion for me, because I really believe that today the internet has kind of leveled the playing field for companies and for employees. So it's no longer just about, big companies and who has the most money to put into marketing, or, for employees, like who has the degree from the best school. This internet marketplace has allowed for so much in terms of being able to reach your potential audience, whether you are a business or an employee. Mm-hmm. So this is something where we can see that I think traditionally what I hear from people is exactly what you've just said, that, they would love to use LinkedIn, but, they don't really know if they get on LinkedIn and they start posting, if their company is not going to suddenly believe that, they're looking for another job. Mm-hmm. And it's difficult to know also how to use LinkedIn properly. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about, we know that today visibility and personal branding are big topics. I mean, this is something that, we see across the board. And so I just wanted to have a little bit of a discussion around how important it is for employers and employees to be visible on LinkedIn. So the first thing that I wanted to kind of have a little discussion about is, I think it's important to educate yourself or your employees on why it matters, right? To be on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And so, first of all, I really believe we are stronger together, right? And for online businesses, it's funny for me. Typically when people are, let me start like brick and mortar approach. People are always afraid somehow of the competition. It's always this competition and competitive approach.
Yes.
But when you're using the internet for your business, so it doesn't have to be an online marketing business. It can be any kind of business, just that you're using, the internet for. There is so much more opportunity to collaborate, I think, because the sheer size of the market already makes it feel like there's enough for everybody. And so there's a lot of incentive to collaborate and find ways to, kind of support one another.
Yeah, and one of the things that I have seen with clients, I would work with a lot of corporate clients where I would be working with their teams. And traditionally, people would have their LinkedIn profile set so that it would be quite difficult to find them, because they have a fear that their competitors will find them and go through their connections and steal their connections and steal their clients. So just to speak to that, if I came across your profile on LinkedIn, I cannot see the list of people you're connected to. But by shielding your profile, so say, for example, people will have their headshot only visible to people in their network, you're actually harming your own company and your own visibility by doing that. And I've always had a mantra about keep your eyes on your own path and don't worry about what other people are doing. So if you can focus on your activity and showing up and sharing your knowledge and expertise and building on your relationships, don't worry about what the person is doing in your competitor's company too much. Yes, keep an eye on it. But if you focus more on them than you do focus on marketing your own company, your products or services, you're probably going to do yourself more detriment than you are going to do any good.
Yeah, definitely. And it's really funny because it is exactly like what you say. Like, people are so afraid of the information that someone is kind of going to glean from their profile.
Yeah.
Instead of seeing the opportunity that gives them to actually raise their level, of knowledge and expertise in their field to those around them. So that's a decision, right, that people make. Either they're going to embrace the side of openness and be a little bit vulnerable, or they're going to take that stance and say, we're going to close everything off and